This is Lisbeth Stahl Cottage Caboodle. Come on in. We are going to paint gingerbread houses. And I can hardly wait because I do love them. I'm dropping things as I go here. So I don't know. It's one of those days. So I hope everybody's doing well. Happy Tuesday. I hope that you are having a great day, that you're doing all the things and you're taking a little time for yourself. That's what I hope. I'm going to make sure that I am on here, and I was doing all kinds of work stuff today, so I'm looking forward to painting. So hold on here. Let me see. That's not it. Yikes. Okay, let me know where you're from, what you're doing, what's your weather like, because mine really is just, I'm over it. This rain is just causing havoc around here. So I'm going to try and get up my comments. It is not working. Maybe this will work. So there we go. I see people in here. Hi, Lori and Joyce. Hello. Yay. Now my phone's almost dead, so that's going to be interesting. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. But I'm not seeing comments, which is not a good thing. So I don't know how all this is going to work. I live in Washington State, and if you haven't seen the news, it's been just a mess. And so, if we happen, hello, Lori, thank you for saying something. I appreciate you so much. And I see other people watching. That's wonderful. So we have had a lot of flooding and just torrential rain. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It is so sad to see how much devastation and all the things. But they keep saying it's going to get better, and then it just keeps raining. So, you know, I've heard things that I've lived here my whole life. I've never heard flash floods. I've never heard any of that. And so it's kind of a weird time. Hi, Sabrina. Hi, Susan. Welcome, you guys. We're going to be doing some gingerbread houses, and these are so much fun. Happy Tuesday, Roberta. Nice to see you here. Thank you. And I hope you've got, you know, just a little bit of time for yourself to do some fun things. Hi, Carol. Hello, Sandra. How are you? Hi, Linda. You're from Washington also. That's wonderful. I love it here. I just I'm a little bit soggy right now. Hello, Teresa. It's one of those things, you know, I want to be able to go out to my shed is my warehouse, and I want to be able to go out there if I wanna in my slippers, and I can't. Hello, Lisa. We're going to get started right away because we've got a lot, and I mean a lot to do. So I'm going to get started right away, and I'm going to see if I can get this pointed down. And I'm going to give you a chance to kind of look at this. There we go. Hello. I'm going to have a little bit of time for you to look at what I've got going here. So I've got a lot of my white little parts and pieces on these boards. So if you don't have a place to kind of stick your pieces down, usually I use the lino grip, but this is too big. So I'm using the boards instead. And but these are, both of these, with the exception of these two bases, everything is white. Everything is going to be white. So let me show you. Now, I am going to say these, we took these to a show in Oklahoma, and they were stacked, and they absolutely got ruined. And so they stuck to each other. And this is, I'm going to show you how to use these jelly drops, but at least if you see these, there's 3 sizes of trees, and I put the red and white ones on here. Those are honestly my favorite. And then these are the colored ones with the little drops on them. And I'll show you how to do that, but we're gonna do the trees and stuff the same way. So make sure that you've got all of the white things, the things that look white on here, on a board, and then we'll go from there and put some of the other things on there. But my comments are wigging out. Sorry, you guys. I'm going to try and get this plugged in. There we go. So along with, hello, Vanessa, how are you? I love these. I do love them. They are tedious. So just get ready that they're not something that comes together super quickly, but they're a lot of fun. They are a lot of fun. So we're looking for all of the things that are white that we're going to put on our pieces. So your gingerbread house came all shrink wrapped with tender loving care from Mr. Caboodle. And here are all my little pieces, and they had all the windows, and it had the trim and the snow from the chimney and a little round circle. All of this, except for the trees, is from the house. And then we've got the 3 major big pieces. These are the white ones. The door frame, the roof line, and then the roof itself. These are going to be gingerbread color, so I'm going to do those honey brown. You can do them whatever brown you like, but I'm going to do mine honey brown. And so I've got things sorted out. So since I've got some of I've got these little parts and pieces. These are all going to be red, but they're the parts that go on to my trees. So I kind of kept them separate. So if you have both kits, you're going to want to lay those out separate. And then on the house, I'm going to put the green things right up here. This is greenery that goes on the little tiny topiary on each side of the door and above the door, right up there. So you're going to have green on those if you want. You can do them whatever, any of this, you can do whatever color makes you happy. It's all up to you. It's all up to you. You don't have to do it it doesn't have to look like anybody else's. Nobody needs to have that worry. So now I've got some more red stuff, but I want to keep that separate. So I'm going to keep my trees on this top piece of tape, and then I'm going to put my house pieces that are going to be red down below. And there's some hearts, but these are all going to be red. I'm going to do the plant pots red, even though I did them white on the sample. I'm going to do, it looks like I already lost one. Well, there you go. It'll show up. It'll show up. So there is my pinwheel. You guys, it has been one of those days. So, but I do want to say, if we lose internet altogether, which I am not convinced that we won't, because I'm getting some really wonky things going on my phone and stuff, just know that either I will post the recording if there is one, or I will get on and do this again. But hopefully you're all seeing this. The only bummer about that is I don't see comments, and that drives me bananas. But it could be that, if we weren't able to do this, that'd be even worse, right? So I'm going to put these trees down here because these are gingerbread pieces as well, the gingerbread color. And then the bases of your little trees, I did in gingerbread color as well. So, oh, thank you, Ellen. I appreciate it. So those of you, a lot of you have these already, and I've sold them a few times. And so if you are like, wait a minute, I missed those. How did I miss those? They are on my website, and the easiest way to find anything is to just go up there, go to the little magnifying glass and search for gingerbread, and all kinds of things will come up, but these will be one of them. And then we've got the big house that's going to be gingerbread colored too. So I've got things kind of sorted out, and that is, that's definitely the first order of business. I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff. Oh, I see where I dropped that little piece. Let me grab it. And I'm just going to warn you. Now I lost it. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. I was going blind for a second, you guys. Hold on. Hold, please. There we go. If you see a whoosh going by, I was due. I'm just going to say that. I was due. I was due to have a cat who can't leave brushes alone. And it's been in the last 48 hours that she's found them. And she has this particular affinity for my giant mop brush. And she will grab it off my table and go running like the wind and go under the kitchen queen in our kitchen and sit there and hide it. And yeah, she runs. Hi, Angie. Hi, Bonnie. Angie, what are you doing in here without your business name up? You can always come and see me with your business name. That way people know who you are. Know who you are. Angie does laser cut stuff. Hello, Sue. From cold Ohio. Ugh. Well, I don't know. I don't know which is worse, honestly. I'm over the rain. I'm over it. Over it. So, okay. We are going to get started with some of this. Now, you can use a little makeup sponge. You can use that if you want. But we got some big pieces here. We got a lot of real estate to cover. So I do like these. They are in my Amazon under my link. Sisters on Board. Okay, well, you can always come in with your name with Sisters on Board so that people can follow you. There'll be a little follow button after. So this, hi Carol, this is like a car wash sponge. And I don't remember what Amazon gave as a description, but how I like to use them for some things is I like to cut them in half. Sometimes I'll even cut them in quarters, but I like to cut them in half. And for big things, you've got a little more surface area and it's kind of easy. So that's what I like to do. And normally I like to use them dry. And I'm going to use them dry now. If I need to pick up a drop or two of water, I will. I'm going to get out some honey brown. Now, I like honey brown for the gingerbread color. Now, if you like yours to look a little browner, you could use a different color. Milk chocolate, some people use. I just like the lighter brown, and I just love it. So, okay, I'm going to put out some honey brown. You know, and I've gone round and round with what colors to use, and this is what I've landed on. It was too red, too yellow, too dark, too light, too whatever, and I'm just gonna tap it on here, and you can even wipe it on if you want. I kind of honestly forget to do that, and but it's really nice for the edges, but I would recommend that even with the sponge, you go towards the edge and not back and forth, because otherwise you're going to get the peanut butter effect, like you were scraping your knife on the side of the jar. So just one way on the edges, and then you can make yourself happy the rest of the places. So I'm just going to get a coat on here, and when it dries, I very well could probably need another coat. So we'll see. This has got a lot going on, and glitter and all of those things, but this is a big set, but I love these. I think they're so pretty when they're done. And you don't have to do all the candy stuff, and you don't have to deal with royal icing, and you can use them year after year. So, okay. I used to do gingerbread with my class when I taught, and it was a crazy, crazy day, but so much fun. So much fun. So I'm going to even that out. So I've got that house done. Now I'm going to go put my gingerbread colored stuff. And I knew that I wanted these bases to be gingerbread colored. So I'm just going to go. And it's not getting it on the edge. Now, if you do get paint on the edge, there's a few things you can do. You can have just a clean brush handy and just take it off right away. You can wait for it to dry and just, you know, fix it all at once with a small sponge loaded in, I like soft black or traditional burnt umber, one of those two. And then you can touch up the edges. Some people use the stain pens that you get at like Home Depot and stuff. But I like this. So I'm sorry. We are getting the windstorms and stuff, and the wind's picking up again. So I apologize. We probably will freeze, but if you miss something, just know that on the recording it will show the entire recording or the entire thing. So I apologize, but not, if I could fix it, I would. Just know that. So I'm just going to do the same with these trees, and those are off the camera kind of. Let's put it over here. And I'm just going to go off those edges. But you can see how easily that covers with that sponge. And some people use the car wash sponges from the Dollar Tree. These are just a nicer size. I like to deal with more. And they're, like I said, from Amazon. I get a whole bag of them for not very much money, and I have them for a long time because I don't use them for a lot of things. I just use them when I have a big kit like this or something. And they do put down a nice coat of paint. But with sponges, you are wasting some paint because it absorbs the paint. That's the sponge's job, right? So just know that. And just all those trees are going to be gingerbread color. Now, I like to do the back of everything. I don't feel like things are finished until I get the backs all done. So I will be painting the backs of the trees and the house and so forth. So, hello, Christy. How are you? Hello, Edie. Is it Edie? Am I saying that right? I hope so. There we go. Just kind of smoothing that out. Now, if you like to kind of grunge it and sand it, you don't need to worry about, you know, how even the coating is. So I'm going to set this off to the side because I've got the gingerbread done. And just so I don't get my hands in it and all of that stuff, I'm going to grab this one. And these are just pieces of cardboard. Some of them I do buy to demo on and stuff. But a lot of them, like we get Home Chef. I don't know if this one has the, yeah, we get Home Chef. And so this is the dividing piece in the Home Chef that comes when we order those. So you can use any kind of, you know, cardboard or whatever you like to use. I will, like I said, I use the Lino Grip mat from Jack Richardson, and it's on the decor site. But when you've got all of this and you don't have all the space and the camera and all that, I just want to make sure that I have space. Now I'm going to just tap this with white. This is the trim on the gingerbread. But one thing that you could do if you wanted to is you could take some of those half round beads, just take this little piece with you to the craft store, or get a ruler and hunt on Amazon and see if you can find some half round beads about the right size. That would be super cute, and you'd have a little more dimension to your decorations. So I'm going to do the whole tree. I'll do the pot on the tree a little bit different because I'm gonna put, well, no, I won't, will I? I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I might change it up. I don't know. And then I'm just gonna pounce I'm not pushing super hard though, because I don't want this down on the edges too much. I like the way it looks with the dark edges. It kind of sets it off. It's like outlining something with a dark color or black or something. There is a kit. It is on my website, and if you go to my website, there is a little magnifying glass, and you can put in Gingerbread House, and these things will come up. So, and it's also, it should be in the bundles and all of that stuff as well. But I will, after, I will post in the comments the link to the kit. Now, this video will be up on I keep saying that, on YouTube, and hopefully in the next 24 hours. So if you go over to YouTube and look for Lisbeth Stahl, then there I will be, and you'll see a lot of the recordings that I have on different things. So there's everything from painting on oyster shells to doing ornaments. So hopefully you'll check that out. You bet, you bet. And we're working on some little things that we can put in the kit so that it's easier for you to find the recordings and stuff. The problem is that if you order things before the recording happens, then that's you're not gonna get a link, because there's no link to be had yet. So we're trying to work out some things so that we can give you easy access to what we have. So I'm just kind of not softening up, I'm just evening out. It's looking kind of freckled. So I'm just going over some of them, and then I'll let that sit off to the side and dry. I'm gonna grab this other one that I'd previously put over, and I'm gonna put a little bit of white on there. This is the weirdest thing. This was happening on Sunday when I was on the online market spot too. It's just, it picks one person and has them come into the room 862 times, I think. And so Bonnie Cloak has come into the room for about the last 10 minutes. So I don't know. I apologize. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat, and if I will go through them after we're done tonight. And let's see. I'm going to go to this one. Now, to put things on here, this, if you've got some of that, if you haven't seen it, Hobby Lobby carries it. It's flocking, and it is something that you can put glue down, and it will make it look velvety. And so you can do that. You can put glue down and put that all over the white, and it will look a little bit matte and velvety. Or you can use glitter. You can, you know, just make yourself happy. I'm going to show you another couple of products that you can use if you like to add some dimension. But also, the dimension is what kind of made mine a little bit, well, they don't look so hot anymore because they've been stacked on and stuff, and they stuck together. So, and this was the jelly drops that stuck and pulled up the paint and part of the wood piece. So it's real sticky stuff, but you can see that there's all kinds of things that you can put on there. I've got the glitter, but I also have some little crystals too. Yeah, I know. Isn't it funny? It is, well, funny in a weird and peculiar kind of way, because it really is just frustrating. And if you're watching this replay and you're going, well, I didn't know, why didn't she put it on her channel? I didn't advertise this that much because when I got up this morning, they were calling for high winds, and I wasn't honestly certain that I was going to be able to do this today. So that's why, and so I apologize, and it's just, it's got to stop soon. I hope. It's crazy around here. So, I'm just going to give this a second coat because, you know, the house is the reason that everybody is, you know, they're going to look at this the most. And the trees have a lot more stuff covering and that kind of stuff, but we want this to be really kind of cute. Now, people had asked for me to demonstrate how to use the jelly drops on this, because let me show you on my house and point it out. So see how that is all, it's almost like shiny candy up there, right? That's the jelly drops in there. It's also in the windows. It's also in the windows. So I will be, I'll show you how to use it, but what you need to do when you go to use it, if you've got the jelly drops, is find a color. You don't have to match the color. You could use, you know, any blue, any red, any pink, any purple, any of those colors, but you're going to just base coat that under part. Now you might say, well, how do I know where to base coat it? Before you, and I'll show you this when we get to the roof and when things are kind of dry, but before you get too far, you know, into it, you're going to take a chalk pencil, and we're going to pretend this is a chalk pencil, and you're going to line it up and have it where this roof is supposed to be, and you're going to take a pencil, and go around those shapes, all these little shapes, right? And then just beyond that chalk pencil line is where you're going to base coat it. It's tedious, I'm not gonna lie, but how I did it is I took, say red. I did 3 reds, 1, 2, 3, and I had them spaced out. I did 3 blues, 1, 2, 3. I did 3 purple, 3 pink, and 2 green, I guess. But you get the idea, and 2 yellow. I figured that the yellow was also down here, but that's how I get those in there. On these, it's a little bit different story. You can, you have the etching on your house, and it tells you where to put the yellow. So we will be putting the yellow on there, and then I'll show you how to use that jelly drop stuff. If you haven't used it, it really is a cool product, and it's something that you can have. I'm sure you'll find a lot of uses for it if you decide to use it. So I'm going to take a little more white. Jelly drops, Deb, are going to be on the Decor website, or they will be at pinecraftinc.com. They carry all of the Decor products, and I'll show you what they look like. If you're familiar with liquid glass, which is one of the Decor products, it's a lot like that, except it's got color to it. So you can do things with it. The other thing that you can do is, and that's what I would do if I wanted to put, where did it go? Oh, it's on the tree. See how I put the different colors on the tree for like a garland? What I did was waited for them to dry and then tried to put on the others, but they spread out a little bit. So see how they kind of mush into each other? What you can do is you can, even on a little Ziploc bag, you can put dots of these different colors, and when they're dry, you can peel them off and glue them on anywhere you want. They're made to do that. They're made that that if you wanted to put them on your fingernails or whatever, you could do shapes and different things and peel them off. So it's just kind of a cool product. Not necessary for sure, but just one of those fun embellishments that we can use. So I'm going over this white again. Just up and over the river and through the woods. There we go. Okay. There we are. This is still a little bit wet, so I'm going to move that. just get this dry. Gingerbread houses, if you've ever made the real kind, the hardest part is getting them to stand up and stick together, and you feel like you should be an octopus. Hello, Pat. How are you? How are you? So there we go. That's much better. Okay, and a little more. And I'm not rubbing on these like I did on the house because I don't want that peanut butter jar effect where it kind of scrapes off the paint on your sponge. I don't want those edges to have it if I can possibly help it. And I just want nice coverage. Now, some people like to add baking soda to their white. It gives it a little more texture and makes it look a little more like frosting. You could definitely do that. I've also seen people use the lightweight spackling compound that you can pipe and just finely pipe all of it. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. And so I'm just going to stick with painting them though. But I just think they're pretty just the way they are, white, you know, on the gingerbread, or if you did the trees green, it'll be pretty too. So they don't have to be. You can do. That's why I like these cutouts, to be honest. It's like upping the game for coloring books. You know, you get to choose your own colors and stuff. So there we go. Hi, Karina. Did I use white chalk paint? No, Carol, I just use regular DecoArt Americana Snow White. I am going to show you what happened with my recent adventure with chalk paint. I used a board for Sparkle and Shine, and I base coated it a neutral with chalk paint. But we've had weather that's been just atrocious, and it's been so wet that I think it didn't rain real well. So I taught the class. It was on the lettering of the piece, and I'll show you the finished one. So here's the little finished piece for Sparkle and Shine. That's what we've been working on, and it's got that, and then it's got the lettering. Well, I taught the lettering and this band, and I was, right before we were done, I was going to put on these borders, and I always use Scotch Magic tape. I have for probably 30 years or more to band off my borders, and I've never ever had a problem with it. And when I went to take it off, it peeled up, and I believe it was from the chalk paint below. I hadn't let it cure long enough. I let it cure, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half or so. And then the whole time I was painting, of course, I had put the winter blue on top. But chalk paint just reacts differently. It's not bad, it just reacts differently. And so I'm just a little gun shy right now of using a lot of chalk paint. I've used chalk paint though for years, and it covers well, but it's just a different, what I think is misunderstood is chalk paint is different. If you want to do detail, if you want to do side loading, if you know, you can do it with chalk paint. You can do it, but it's harder, and it's a lot easier with acrylic. So I just kind of stick with what I know best. But you know, you could use chalk paint, and I use chalk paint all the time. But I don't know why. And this was the DecoArt brand. It wasn't a, you know, like a generic type thing. So I don't know what happened, but it's just something to be careful of. And I'll use the board for something else and demo on it or whatever. We'll go with it. Sometimes it's just like that, you know. You learn. We all learn and continue to learn and continue to learn. I know I do. I'm going to get a smaller little sponge because I'm going to do these red, and these are going to be green. So I don't go with the red all over. You could use any green if you like Hauser medium, if you like, you know, just a medium green. I'm grabbing New Leaf. I like it because it's a little jazzy. and not very muted or soft. So I'm going to use New Leaf on this greenery and just tap that green on there. And I'll set my sponge over here because I'll probably want to give it another coat. And I'm going to grab another sponge. And I'm going to use Santa Red. Is this Santa Red? No, that's Crimson Red. And I only have one bottle of it, and it's my new favorite. And so I'm going to use Santa Red. If you haven't used that new color Crimson Red, it really is beautiful. It's like deep burgundy or that crimson tide that we used to have, and I just love it. Okay, so I'm going to take that Santa Red and just get all of these little pieces and parts. Can you imagine how long this would take if you did this with a brush and didn't have it taped down or anything? Oh my stars upon Mars, it would be, you wouldn't ever want to do one of these little kits again with all the parts and pieces. So my husband has said, if you make me sort 9 hearts that are all very close in size again, I quit. But he wouldn't really, but oh my goodness. So yeah, there's 9 hearts that are different sizes on this particular thing. So and we're stacking them because they all came in one big bag. We're stacking them, trying to decide which one's a little bit bigger than the other, and oh my goodness, it was an adventure. An adventure. But that's fine. That's fine. I'm just tapping the color on, Carol. That's all I'm doing. Just tapping color on. So not a very exciting thing to watch. But you can put details on this if you want to add some things to it. I put some details on some of the little parts and pieces. I did some of the hearts pink if you want to add pink to it. I didn't on this one because I'm keeping it that red and white color. But sometimes I'll do the detail after I get all the base coating done. And that way it is, you know, it's just easier once it's in place and you don't have to remember, oh, well, that one went here and that one went there. And I had, oh, I thought I did polka dots and here I put it in the place where I didn't want the polka dots. So, you know, just, there's not a prescribed way that you have to do this. It's just hopefully fun and relaxing and a little bit enjoyable and all of those things. I am going to give these just another little quick coat. I've got some bubbles here because I had a lot of paint on my sponge. And I'm just kind of giving it another little quick once over just to get some of that. There were really light, streaky kinds of just a pattern left. So I'm just going to wiggle that around. And then that should be good. That should be good. So I'm going to dry, my base looks fine. So I'm going to dry this. And then if you're like me, you're always going to see something that you kind of missed. So I'm just going and tapping over some of those. I am going to go over this little greenery over here in the corner one more time, just to strengthen that color. And there's a lot of flat back things on the market. It used to be that we'd go around and we'd buy buttons, and then we'd have to cut the shanks off of them to put little embellishments on things. And now you don't have to do that because they make those little resin pieces just totally plain. You know, you don't have to worry about all of that. But this is the time to, you know, dig into your twinkles and all of your sparkly stuff and your galaxy glitter and all of that, and really put it to good use, because it's a lot of fun to embellish all of this. And there we go. I'm just getting a little more, as they dry, they sometimes just show a little bit of that, you know, that faded color where it dries. So we've got those done. We've got those done. Let's start with our trees. So I'm going to take my trees off of here. And let's see. There we go. We're going to put our trees down here. I'm going to take my bases off. Now you're going to say, which bases go with which tree? And I'm going to say it doesn't matter too much, because again, these bases are very close to the same. They're really close to the same. And so what you want to do is put out the bases, and you want to grab the 3 largest ones. And these are really similar. One's a little bit narrower, a little bit longer. It doesn't really matter. So you've got the 3 largest ones. Now here's a large one. Oh, and I want it to be just a little bit smaller. See how it's got like a little step on there? This one's a little bit smaller, so I'm going to put that one on the smallest one. And then this one is on here. So I don't have like a number system. I don't have anything, you know, even close to that. But as long as you've got that little step, then when we glue them together, they will have a little bit of dimension on that edge. And that's what we're looking for. Now, on the stands, what I didn't like is, even with a sponge, you get a little bit of that over goop. But you can put things like the frosting or the glitter snow or something like that on there, and it will definitely help it. So let's get our tree pieces, and be real careful, because these are ginger, or they're ginger. They're real tender. They're tender, so that you do want to have them, you want to be careful, because they will snap. Not easily really, but, and then also when you take your kits apart, some of the kits might still have the pieces from when it was cut. So those pieces might be in there, and the cutouts. That's not a bad thing. It just supports it in shipping. So we don't, if they're still in there when we get them from the woodcutter, we don't take them out, because it helps during shipping. And you can just use a stylus and poke those through, and they usually come right out. So that's what we've got. And I am going to place these on my trees where I want them. And this is the next one. And they already look just as cute as they can be. There's something about that white and that pretty honey brown. And I'm going to use some glue. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac. I was going to use Stick Fast, and my Stick Fast nozzle is it is clogged. But you want something with a fine little applicator, so that you can just put a little tiny touch, and I just kind of run it around. I want to make sure that I've got good adhesion on the edges, but I'm not putting much glue down. I don't want any of that over over goop. I want to just have enough for it to stick. I'm going to put it on the bigger spots, so like on these hearts up the middle, I'll put just a little bit of glue. And I'm going to get rid of any strings that I have. And then I'm going to place it on my piece. And when I place them, I like to have them in my hands because I can feel when they're lined up. And I'm just feeling to make sure that the edges are lined up. And once I feel like they are and it's starting to grab, I'm going to set that off to the side. And then I'll do the same thing with this one. So I've got my Fabri-Tac, and I'm just going to move quickly because I don't want this to start drying, but I am going to move quickly. You could use art glitter glue. If you have that, you could use Fabri-Tac. You could use Stick Fast. You know, any of the glues that you use. You could probably even use Titebond. But the reason I didn't use Titebond, and I'm a big fan of Titebond, is because I knew I was going to be moving these around a lot, and I didn't want to have to wait and have them sliding around and not see them slide and then end up with a tree that wasn't lined up, or a piece of decoration that wasn't lined up. So I'm going to pick this up, line it up, do the same thing, make sure that they're all lined up, give it a nice firm push, and then we have our last one. It's honey brown. It's honey brown, Deb. Hi, Paula. Oh, thank you. I like them too. I like them too. Thanks, Lori, for sprinkling me out there. I appreciate you. Hi, Cindy. So I'm just going to take some of this Fabri-Tac and put it in the main areas, but not everywhere. And you don't want to use hot glue necessarily. You can use hot glue for if you do what I call a now and later, something where you put down a glue that takes a while to dry, like Fabri-Tac or Titebond. Fabri-Tac dries pretty quickly, but you can use the hot glue to hold it in place. But you don't want to use hot glue because when it gets cold and hot and cold again, it will oftentimes just pop off. The pieces will pop off, and you don't want to lose all that work that you've done. So I'm going to take, it's making strings. And then I'm going to line it up. See another string. You guys, that kitten's making me a liar. She's not coming and taking her brush. She loves that brush for some reason. Goodness. Okay, so there we've got those things. So now we have some other little things, and if you're anything like me, you'd be going, uh-oh, I don't remember. What am I going to put on there? What things go on which parts? What do I do? Remember, we put all of the tree stuff right up here. So the house, this is the house too, but all of these are the tree things. So I'm going to take the pieces off. I'm going to concentrate on that part first, and then I'll work at the placement. You're going to see all these hearts. Holy cannolians. Okay, so this is a little bit ridiculous. I'm quite sure. But if you look at these little hearts, 9 little hearts, every last one of them is a different size. Debbie, I will be putting it in the chat when we're done. Good old FB, it does frown upon us. It's like a jealous boyfriend. It doesn't want you going anywhere with anybody else. So I will put it up, and it'll be in the chat. Or you can go to my website, lizbethstoll.com. You can search for Gingerbread House and it will pop right up. Okay, so I'm putting them in size order, just in case you didn't believe me that they were all different sizes. So, oh, see, they're all different sizes. Oh, you bet. Cindy, no, the glue I'm using is not linked to my favorites because it's not a favorite, honestly. I like to try things to see if they are a favorite. This is good. Fabri-Tac is good, and a lot of people really, really like it. But I'd much rather use, for something that to stick quickly, I would much rather use Stick Fast. Or, you know, usually, honestly, I just wait for Quick and Thick to dry. Oh, thanks, Shane. Did you hear me talking about you with the 9 different sizes of hearts? And how excited you were to help with that? Oh, my goodness. He's at work, so that is, he can't act up too much. Well, maybe he can. I don't know what members of his team are there today or what, but yeah, I'm surprised he's not. He must be busy if he's not talking back. There we go. And I'm going to put on this one. Poor Shane. Oh, Karina, you have looked into his eyes, haven't you? He's got you fooled. He's got you fooled. No, I'm really, really lucky. Last night when I was teaching Sparkle and Shine, he got off work at 5, and I did a sale on Whatnot this weekend, and it has to be mailed out within 3 days. Well, it was really day 1 because it's business days, and but he went to the post office. And imagine the post office this close to Christmas, and he had to scan everything himself for the app, and oh my goodness. So, and he didn't even complain, not one time. Not one time. So the biggest one goes here. Okay, so this is how I like to do this part of it. Is here's the biggest one. Now the next biggest one is going to go on the next biggest tree. You heard us talking about these hearts. Yeah, these hearts are not fun. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. The reason we have them still this year is because we both got tired of sorting hearts last year. And we decided we weren't going to sell anymore because we didn't have it in us, you guys. We didn't have it in us. It takes a long time. So if you like the gingerbread houses and trees, get them quickly, because once they're gone, they're gone. We're not doing them again. They are a lot. So then I go to the next biggest one. Once I have the big, medium, small of the 3 biggest ones, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to the next biggest one. And then I'll go to the next biggest one. This is on the medium tree. Just like so. Hello, Tracy. How are you, my friend? You already wear readers over your glasses. Oh, you guys, my husband is ridiculous. He doesn't care. He just doesn't care. So here's the deal. So when he's not wearing his contacts, he wears his cheaters, you know, the readers that we all of a certain age wear. And hold on, there we go. We all of a certain age wear. Well, he does that, but then if he's wearing his reader or his regular glasses, they're not readers, they're regular glasses. So if he doesn't have his contacts in, so he will then put readers over top of his glasses. So the man is now wearing 2 pairs of glasses. He looks like a crazy person. And doesn't seem to care. Does not seem to care. Oh. But no, I am lucky to have him. And he would say that he was lucky to have me too, despite me giving him a hard time. Even if it's just for show. Yes, yes. He looks like a Goomba. And he just doesn't care. But there is paybacks, you guys. There is paybacks. Because rarely, when we go to a restaurant or something, does he bring his cheaters. So if I'm wearing my pear glasses, I don't take the frame things off. So if I've got this pink sparkly frames that are stuck to the glasses, that's what he gets, is the pink sparkles. Because that's the way I roll. You can roll however you want, buddy, but that's the way I roll. We have fun. Oh my goodness sakes. But I wish, you know how do you have family members that you wish you would have asked questions because you didn't have questions maybe when they were around, but you sure have them now? My mom's mom, my granny, she had these glasses, speaking of looking crazy, and you guys have heard me talk about her. She's the one who went to the bathroom on the side of the road when we were on our way to South Dakota and said, oh, nobody will ever know, I'll never see these people again, but saw the trucker that honked at her as he was going by, and when we stopped for lunch. So, but she had these glasses. She had these glasses that the lenses, one of them was literally blacked out on the top. The other one, I'm living life really dangerously. I'm putting glue on both of these. So she was something else, but she had these glasses that had blacked out on the top on one and the bottom on the other. She had horrible vision. She had 2% vision, she always would say, in one eye, and she was nearsighted in one eye and farsighted in the other, and just a hot mess that way. But she had these glasses, and I've often wondered, and they were prescription. They weren't like something she just fabricated, you know. It was, but I wish I knew why they were like that. And I wish I knew why as a kid I didn't say, hey, what in the world? So, but I didn't. So there are my little bases. Oh, well, hello, Cheryl. Nancy, hello. Hello, hello. So we've got the trees put together, but the biggest tip is put those hearts in largest to smallest order, and then have your large tree, your medium tree. It would have been easier probably if I had them in order, and then start with the largest and then just go down the line until you get to the very smallest one on the very smallest tree. Okay, so that's my little pearl of wisdom for that one. Now, there is, I'm gonna put this on my, also with the Fabri-Tac, in all honesty, I know a lot of people like it, and I said that it wasn't my favorite, and it's not, but it could be the fact that I brought it home, I got it out of the bag, I put it on my table, I went to use it the very first time, and lost the cap. Yep, that's the way it worked. So, in all honesty, it could have been the fact that it's probably not as fresh as it should be, and so I'm not going to be unfair about it. So, you guys, if you need bow bundles with beautiful fabric, Cheryl Bentley makes bow bundles out of quilt grade fabric, and so it's beautiful, beautiful fabric, and she sold them on the online market spot this weekend. And I'm going to say it out loud and right here, Cheryl Bentley, for 20 strips, and I don't know how many pieces of ribbon that are in each and every bundle, you guys, they're $5.95. that's a lot of work to cut those strips, and they're cut, they're not ripped. I do mine ripped. Hers are cut, and some of them like pinked. They're ziggity zaggity. So, and they're cute fabrics and stuff. So if you need bow bundles, get in touch with Cheryl. She's got you covered. She's got you covered. I put my order in. Hopefully you saw it. So I'm holding this until it grabs. This base is just a real simple base, and it's real narrow. All of those, I don't know where the stands ended up. My husband would have found them, and I got it in some glue I put up there, and I forgot that I put it up there. But we're going to leave that part up because I'll put some, you know, if you need to cover something up, you just dab a little glitter on it. Dab a little glitter on it. Oh, good, thank you. So contact Cheryl Bentley. She's your gal. She used to own a quilt shop, you guys, so she knows the good fabric. Okay, so just like our hearts, you guys, this is just me. I like to go on these from biggest to smallest. But what I want you to think about is if you're going to leave it just the white and brown, which I love that look with a little bit of red. That's why I'm doing it this way. That's my favorite way. But if you want to make yours colorful, which is super cute too, you want to do some of that preliminary painting. Okay, this is, you guys. So, oh, thank you, Jade. I shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm going to. Never mind that I had just put these things down there and maybe 30 seconds later picked them up. But when it kind of moved in my fingers, I'm like, oh no, I broke it. Yeah, what in the world? You know, some people, and I'm one of them. So what you want to do though is if you're going to do that colorful stuff on the roof, you want to do it now. I'm going to do just a little bit of yellow on the windows. I don't have it though on the house, on the door. So if okay, I'm going to line this up so you get to see this then. Oh, and don't forget, I almost did it. You want to be even with this lip, because if you put it down too far, it won't slide into the base. So don't do that. Don't do that. Isn't it fun? Oh, they're so cute. They're just something about gingerbread houses and gingerbread people and snowies that it's got my heart, you guys. It's the thing that I love to paint most. Both of those things, I think. And so I don't know if this is good news or not, but I have decided, I've made an executive proclamation, and that is I'm going to do Christmas all stinking year next year, because here's the deal. If I don't, then I feel like I'm running to get all of the things done between Christmas in July, which is my starting gun. Oh, I shouldn't have said that on, oh well, but you know what I mean. And now, and so I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do Christmas all the time, so I'm going to. Oh, that would be fun. Oh, absolutely. You could do one every single year and put them in a row. You'd have a village in no time, because time flies. Time flies. Okay, I'm going to get a little brush, and I don't even have to be super duper, well, I need to be somewhat neat, but I don't have to be ultra neat, because I'm going to be doing that trim over top. So I'm going to this is golden straw. It's just a pretty kind of not too, I call it wangy. If it's, you know, like a lemon is wangy when you bite into it. The yellow, I don't want it to be too bright and too much. So I'm going to put that yellow over there, just like so. And I'm going to even go over my little lines here, because I know that my pencil lines are going to be inside that window, and I want this just beyond those lines. There we go. You guys, I'm so glad that we haven't frozen. I can do that, Jade. I can do that. I will be down soon. Jade is Pinecraft's daughter-in-law, and she works there. You've probably talked to her if you've called down there or sent an email. And then I'm going to do this other one. So it doesn't take long, but this is how you would do the roof too. It takes a little bit longer on the roof because you've got to do all the different colors. But, you know, you can do whatever it is you want, you know, want to do. If you had a stencil, that would be really cute. I also think that this would be a darling, like Mother Goose type house. I can see it done in different ways, not just gingerbread. So we've done the trees. And they definitely need the little stuff on them. So we'll let those dry though. But we've done the trees if you haven't seen the trees. And we want this to dry. It doesn't have to dry, but I'm gonna make it dry. Hey Jade, do you guys carry the jelly drops? If you're still here. She might have just popped in for a second and then popped out. I'm going to give this another little hit of paint. She might have, I'm 99% sure that it's on their website. Oh, you guys, here comes the wind and the rain again. Okay. How do I not have a paper towel out? I know I'm not seeing comments, you guys. I'm so sorry. I will go back. They're kind of coming in and out. And it should be, I'll try and get it up tonight, but for sure tomorrow. And I am going to be working on invoices for the online market spot tonight, and get those off my to-do list. So I'm very grateful to have them, the orders. So I want to make sure that I get them out quickly. So we're going to try this and see if we've got it in about the right spot, which I think we do. Isn't that cute with that little tiny bit of yellow? It just makes those little windows look like they're glowing. So cute, so cute. So we're going to take and put this in place, and then this piece I broke off earlier in place. And let's get those glued on. Oh my goodness. I am such a ding dong. Oh, thank you very much, Cindy. Cindy dropped the link in there for us, and Pinecraft does carry it, Carol says. So yeah, Cindy dropped the link in for the jelly drops. So thank you. Jade's a busy gal with a little one, so probably had other things to do or demands made upon her. I'm just putting a little bit on here. Again, this isn't going to be going through the car wash. It's just decoration, so it needs to be on there secure. But if it's a little bit, you know, you don't have to have absolutely everything with glue on it. I figure the more glue I touch down, the more likely I am that I'm going to have the splooges out from underneath. So, okay, there's the stressful one, but notice I kept it up from that base so that it will slide into the little place that it needs to slide into. Then we're going to put some glue on here. Now, if this was me and I was doing it at home by myself, this is not how I would put glue on my piece. I would not be putting glue over the part that's done, but I want you to see what I'm doing. So I'm doing it over, but please, you know, put the other stuff to the side while you're gluing so that you don't end up with glue where you don't want it. And I'm going to go and put that on. Remember that trick that I told you that I touch the edges just to make sure it's in the right spot and make sure it's lined up. This one I feel it kind of slipping around and I can feel glue over here. So I got a little too much glue over there. And then it's got those little lines and you can kind of tell if you're where you're supposed to be. So there we go. There we go. So then we'll do this one. I noticed that my number for the broadcast strength is like going down with the wind gusts and stuff. So if, again, just know that this recording will go up and it will be in full, but if I do lose you, so I'll just keep talking to myself and record it. So there you go. There you go, there you go. So just make sure that it's pretty secure. And you know, this Fabri-Tac, it does set up pretty quickly. What I don't like about it is the strings that it leaves. It's like a glue gun. It leaves little fine strings everywhere, just like a glue gun. So this one I'm going to do a little bit different. It's the stick, but where did I put it? I don't want to start gluing and then, oh, it's underneath. Good grief. So this one I'm just going to put a few dots of glue right where it goes, and then that string will be underneath. And every 2 or 3 little beads, I've got some glue. And this goes right here. And those etched lines are made to be just slightly inside the outline. So if you can see that etched line, you're not lined up. You want to be able to hide those etched lines. So when you're putting things down, keep that in mind. Take that off, take that off. I can get this sticky thing out of here. Hi. Hello, hello. Okay, so there we are with those. Now this little round goes right up here. I'll just set that down. And then we'll put little green ones right there. We're going to put the topiary trees on. Just trying to line them up real nice. There we go. There we go. There we go. And a little bit here. And if I were to cut, if I were to cut these again, what I would probably do is, number one, I would cut down on the sizes of hearts because it really doesn't need to have 9 different sizes. We could, I bet, make some of those work, and for multiple places. But I would have the windows maybe cut out so that you could light it from behind or something, and that would be super cute. And then I'm gonna want to make sure that's straight. So I'm looking at the edge to make sure these are about lined up, and I can't see any of the edging, just a little bit at the top. So I'm gonna snug that up a little bit. So now I'm okay, and I'll do this one. So this is also my argument with stick fast when I'm doing these kinds of little pieces and stuff. It almost sticks too fast. So if I were doing this on my own at my home and didn't have to carry it out of a class or demonstrate it and, you know, make sure that you have everything you need in a, you know, a quick amount of time, or at least a reasonable amount of time, then I wouldn't, I would be using Titebond, because I just think that sometimes that super glue is just, it sticks too fast. And okay, and I did the wrong side of my snow. Do you see that? See how it lines up? And then it doesn't line up. So I already have glue on there, so I'm going to wipe it off on the cardboard. I'm not going to get all twisted up about it. I'm going to see, yep, it's smooth. I'm going to let that dry so that, and I didn't get it on there, so that's good news. So I'm going to work on some of this other stuff, and that's not a big deal because I can just paint the other side. I still even have the white sponge. So now I want to grab what's left. What's left? So there's 2 different sizes of the greenery. There's 4. I thought there was 4. Did I lose one? I must have lost one. Huh. I'll find it. I've got some extras, I think, somewhere. And then we've got the topiary thing. And I'm going to take off these little pinwheels. There's 1 big one, 2 medium, and 2 small. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 hearts. And sometimes I'll add parts and pieces to them too. Just, you know, because I like the look of it or whatever. So if you see extra pieces on some of them, you will get 4 of the greenery, but I don't know why this is only 3. So I'm going to put these on right down here. Okay, I don't like that. It's not, I'm afraid I'm going to flood it with this sticky stuff, and I'm going to go to Titebond and do these little pieces. I'm going to do this just like I do it when I'm by myself. And I'm going to stick it right next to the white paint on my palette, because that seems like where I always put it, but we're going to be careful, I promise. See, it is thick. It is thick, but if you want it to move, it's not quick. There we go. Oh, for the love of applesauce. Come on. There we go. I could feel it. Okay, so we've got some Titebond, And then you want to grab, this is how I like to do it, on those little tiny pieces. I'll use a stylus and then just tap on a few little bits, not a lot, just a little tiny bit, and then I can place it, give it a little press, and be on my, oh, wrong way. Wrong place though, you guys, wrong place. You needed to tell me. I just was supposed to put it up here. So while that glue is all wet, I'm gonna go down here because it left a footprint, and I'm gonna put one of those little greeneries right on top. Whew, that was a close one. Now I've got the other big one that goes up top. And we're gonna go this way and put that on. Just like so. And then we'll do the greenery on the topiaries. I'm gonna just put a little bit on here. Really doesn't matter which one you put it on, the piece or the surface. There we go. And then I will have to paint another one. There we go. And I'll do another green one. Let's get that white on our chimney little top. What I can do though is I can just glue this down. I don't have a lot of white left on my palette, so I'm gonna have to get some fresh out, so it'll be nice fresh paint and it will go on there easy as pie. So I'm gonna feel to make sure. There we go. So now I've got my little bit of snow up on the roof that doesn't look very snowy yet. I'm just going to put out a little tiny bit of white. Got this brush. And because I didn't have a lot of paint, my sponge was dry. So I'm just being really careful. This is just a little small piece. I'll let it dry because I know it's going to be streaky, and then I will give it a second coat. It's not very often though that the fixes are difficult. They're just, you know, tedious. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this biggest pinwheel, so just a tiny bit, and then I'm going to put that up here, almost like where a barn quilt would be. And then we've got these bigger pieces, and they're going to go on the lower edge of the lower part of the topiary. Just like so. You can use paint pens with these as well. If you want to put a lot of detail and stuff on, then you can use paint pens. I like to put some crystals and things like that on them to really give them, ooh, some snowy sparkle. But, you know, do whatever you like. They'd even be cute with just red buttons on these little topiaries too, if you wanted to do it that way. I'm gonna do something that I wouldn't normally do. It's gonna have glue on it, but it's not gonna show on here. I didn't like how the two open sections were adjacent. It made too much white right there. So I just spun it, and nobody's gonna know unless you tell them, so you guys better not tell them. Please. I got glue on there. So there we go. We've got that done. We're almost there. We're almost there. I'm just going to put a little teeny bit on this guy. And this is just the little overlay for those pots. Pretty cute. So much fun. And then we've got hearts, and these hearts can go, you can make them any other color that, you know, any color that you want. You can add them wherever you like, and up to you. On the original, I had them on the topiaries, and then I had one on the face of the house. I'm going to put one on the house. But I think what I want to do there, I think I want it here, right on the door. So you can put them other places. They don't have to be exactly in the same place every place you put them. So like I could put them on the windows. And that's going to be real cute. So just make yourself happy, and then you can put the little crystals on there, and you know, maybe some glitter. Another product that you can use that's really nice for this kind of a thing, if you so choose, this Love Color Frosting White Acrylic Writer. So what it is, I'm not gonna lie, a little bit of a pain in the paintbrush, because every single time I open it, I have to clear out the nozzle. And Decor knows about this, and I don't think that there's much that can be done, but it's worth it. It's worth it. And the jelly drops are the same way. They're kind of, they will plug up. Some people put a stainless steel pin in the nozzle so it doesn't rust, but I get to complain about it every single time. That's how I roll with it. So I'm going to get out, hopefully, sometimes with this safety pin I can feel the glob that's stuck. There we go. I'll put this over here. So now I have another choice when I'm looking for glue. I can go to the wrong place. And sometimes it won't work the first time or the second time, but we're going to try it. But you've probably seen these acrylic writers before. I think it is going to work. I'll be, maybe not. No, it's not going to work. So you're going to take my word for it, because it's just not, I don't want to go and rinse it out and all of that stuff, but that's what I would do. Let's see if we can give it one more good plunge. Yep, and when I'm using these, I do want to use them upside, I want to have them upside down for as long as I possibly can. I will put them in the center of the candies, but you can see how it's just a real small, literally an acrylic writer. And so you could put more things in there if you wanted. I'm going to put some right here. So instead of a dip dot, and I'm going to put crystals on there. But I would advise you to practice with this ahead of time. You can also, let's say this was painted honey brown. You could also run it like piping and see the dimension of it. It sits, oops, it sits right up there. So it is thick. It is thick. So, but that's thick acrylic paint, and it comes in a variety of colors. Hello, Sandra Malone. How are you? But you can use it. I like it for sprinkles. It looks really cute as sprinkles. And let me get this out of the. Ugh. Okay, alrighty. So any of the little extras that you want to add to it is more than good. You can add, like I did on this one, some polka dots on those little hearts. You can do that. I put some of the jelly drops on these hearts. You could do that. And these peppermints have stripes on the pinwheels. I think that looks really cute, but I also like them when they're just plain. I think they need a gem or a dip dot in the middle though. I think they're too plain that way. So let's see. Let's just do a quick dip dot. It's just going to help move your eye. See the difference? It's a huge difference, I think. And you could put stripes or polka dots on the hearts. Okay, so with the gel. Oh, thank you, Chris. Thank you. I can't see comments worth a hooey. The heart moved on the right, bottom right topiary. Thank you. There we go. Wahoo! Thank you, thank you. Okay. So I'm gonna put this off to the side. And so we've got all of those things done. On the base of these, you could run like with a paint pen or even paint just like a wavy line if you want, or you could just leave it the way it is. And they're pretty sturdy when they're in here because they fit tightly. I don't want to stick it in because I don't want it to be, I don't want it to get stuck, but they do fit in here and they're really sturdy. I haven't had them tip over or knock over with the cats or anything. And so that's a good thing. But I wanted to show you the jelly drops. Let's see here. So here is another one of the acrylic writers. I love this color. It's called Lemon Cream. It's so pretty. So pretty. But we're not using that. I didn't want to take up more space on my table. So I'm grabbing the Love Colors jelly drops. And I'm just grabbing the acrylic writers real well. So here's one of the jelly drops. This is Strawberry Drop. Okay, I'm going in. Here is the Lime Green. Here, I'm in two places. Where is my yellow? Okay, well, that is not cool. I thought they were all right down here. I don't know where I would have taken them. Oh, you guys, I'm so sorry, but we're going to use, well, I'll show you with these guys. So all you're going to do when it comes to these Love Colors is you've got to clear out the nozzle. Make sure, is it coming out? Nope. So we're going to go to our handy dandy trusty straight pin. Well, this is a safety pin. We're going to clean out that. And you do it the same way regardless of if it's, now it's coming out. You're going to do it the same way regardless of if it's up here in the roof or if it's down here in the windows. And literally it is no big deal to put this on there. You want it to be, you want it to just basically flood the area. So because these guys are ruined anyway, because of being stacked and traveling and stuff, this one's not too bad, but I'm gonna just show you. Nope, not on that one. Hold the phone, hold the phone. I wanna show you how it works though. So, and I wasn't gonna do it on this one because I'm keeping it red and white. So let me go over here, just so you can see how it's gonna work. So we're gonna pretend that this area right here is a window, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to just take this clear gel and you're going to, it's self-leveling, so you don't need to worry about it being all nice and neat and tidy. You're just gonna flood that area, okay? As it dries, it's going to self-level. So you can see it's all bumpy and bulby and not at all clear, and it's going to be clear. It will clear. And so when your piece is all done, then those little areas you put that in are going to become glossy and clear, and they're going to dry smooth. The most important thing is you can't use, well, you can, but I wouldn't use the jelly drops on a place that had that was just the brown background color. It's not going to be vibrant like this. You want to base coat it with a color that's similar. It doesn't have to match. You know, you can use any pink, any red, any blue, however you want to do it, but you just flood that area just like I did on the tree. So we'll take a look at the tree. I've got a big hunk of glue. And you can see that it's starting to level and spread, and it will continue. It will continue, and I'm not messing with it. I'm not doing anything to it. I'm just letting it be. I want it to just be. And I want to try something because I think it might work. There is another new product, and it's the stained glass product from Decor. And let's see how that works for the windows. And let's see. It's a I want to make sure that, and you do use a flooding technique with this too. So I am going to see if I can grab a pipette. Here we go. Just so I have a little bit of control with it. And I'm going to squeeze it and go down into my product. Pull it up, and I've got a little bit in there, and then I'll just wait for it to kind of fall down. It sucked it all up. I don't think I need to, honestly. I think I can do it a different way. Let's try this. I'm just going to kind of scoop it with my brush. And I'm just going to lay it out. But this is the same kind of a look as that jelly drop. So this is the stained glass. I would just at first blush, looking at this, the stained glass is self-leveling also, but it's easier to work with the jelly drops because of the nozzle and just the way the product is. So I wouldn't recommend this over that. It's hard not to get it on the edges and stuff. But, and I apologize if I had my yellow jelly drops. I might have, honestly, I might have given them away. I do that occasionally. So, I don't know. I sure don't remember giving them away, but I don't know where they'd be except where they're supposed to be. So, but you can fill it with this as well. And it's kind of a cool product. I haven't had a lot of experience with it, obviously, because I'm reading the back of the bottle and whatnot, but it will give it just a real transparent look and look like a window, and it'll look glassy and so forth. So that is what I would do with those. I'm going to need to put some more white paint around the outside edge because it does get it in there. But I think this could be a disaster, but I don't know that I would want to do this, but we're going to try it. So just a drop, maybe two, and then take my brush, kind of stir it around. You know, that was easier than putting it on the brush. So we're gonna, and it is self-leveling, but this is the only way you learn, you know, is to try it. And so I'll put a little bit more so they're even. This is not bad. And the thing with this, to get the similar effect, you wouldn't need to contend with that nozzle getting clogged every time. It's handy, but it's at the same time kind of a pain. So I've got a little drop in all of those areas, and it looks like if I just let it alone and let it be, it looks like it's running into the edge. I don't want to stop though. It's not going all the way across. Maybe I didn't put enough in here, but it will clear, and I'll take pictures and post them so that you can see what this is all about. But that is the stained glass thing. But with the jelly drops, you don't have to do a thing to them. You just put it in there with that nozzle, and it will just take on a life of its own and be fine. So you don't have to worry about that. But you can see that looks transparent. It looks yellow. It looks shiny. Compared to this, with the jelly drops, it looks the same, only this one's dry. And then I want you to notice with the jelly drops and the green, how it's spreading. It might not go into those cracks. I might have to go into those little deepest, darkest areas, but it is self-leveling. It is going out, and it's doing exactly what I wanted it to. So I wouldn't do a whole lot of places, but like in these little narrow areas, I might draw it out just a little bit with the pin, and that will help it to kind of fill in. But it's still self-leveling. It will be until it goes transparent. So it really is a neat project. So really fun, really, really fun. What did I finally use? I used the stained glass paint. I used the stained glass paint, which is also a new product. But I mean, I think that if you'd have to think about what you would use the most. Would you use the stained glass paint, or would you use the jelly drops? Gives a similar effect. I think I like the jelly drops just for ease of use, and I know what to expect with them. And it stands up. The stained glass it won't, you know, I showed you I put the jelly drops on the heart. That stained glass paint wouldn't stand up and have some dimension to it. It's fine for the windows, but it wouldn't be what I would use for to put something on the hearts. And there's pink, blue, yellow, green, red, purple, think there's 7 of them, and I'm missing one. Orange, maybe. Maybe? I don't know. I'm guessing. In the corners of what? Of the windows? Because they're in the corners of the windows. I used a little brush, but I wouldn't have needed to. It just flooded in there. And usually, like with these, I didn't mess with it at all. I flooded it with jelly drops and it just went into its stained glass paint. So just another way to use something that's going to embellish it and give it another little touch of glitz and glam. Then when everything is dry, and I wouldn't do it now, but when everything is dry, I'm going to take something, there, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to take like glossy varnish or something along that line. If you have liquid glass, you could use that. But that's what I'm going to use to adhere my glitter. Because if I use a glue, chances are that glue is going to dry matte. And I want it to dry glossy so that it goes with the glitter. And I would use a clear glitter or a glass glitter, something really glammy and pretty and glitzy, and it would be beautiful wherever you wanted to put it. If you're not a glitter person, use some of the twinkles, the craft twinkles, or use galaxy glitter or something like that. I'm not a fan necessarily of the Glamour Dust paint glitter, the paint one, because of the tint to it. It's just not my favorite. I like the Glamour Dust, the loose glitter, but that's, you know, that's what I like. But yeah, this is filling in perfectly on the corners and stuff. I don't have any blank spots or anything. So that part of it is good. So, well, that's all I have, you guys. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you so much. It is always a pleasure to do a little demo, do a little ditty. And if you do one of these, be sure and post it on the Caboodle Doodles page so that we can see what you did and what you did to embellish yours. Because I hope that each and every one of them is going to be just a little bit different and use a little bit different something. So have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Tuesday, and stay safe, dry, warm, and have a very, very happy holidays. And oh, you're very welcome, Pat. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. So I will see you soon. This is